Mark Anthony here for the MedTech World. On today's podcast, I have in the studio with me Mr. Kenneth Brincat. Kenneth, how are you doing today?
Fine, thank you for inviting me.
My absolute pleasure. Kenneth, the spotlight seems to be on you at the moment. You are the newly appointed CEO for MDIA. How does that feel?
Oh, I think I feel honored, first of all, but I think that I feel also a bunch of a burden on me because being the CEO of an important entity such as MDIA is quite a responsibility.
Most definitely. But Kenneth, you have been recognized for your achievements along the line of this industry. You've done this, of course, for a number of years. Kenneth, give me a bit of a background. What brought Kenneth Brincat into MDIA today?
Okay, I consider myself as a people-oriented person. Even my career directed me that way. Mm-hmm. I have around 22 years experience in management now. The first 18 years were in local government, mm-hmm. Whereby there you have a very close interaction with people.
Most definitely.
Then I was appointed as COO of the Malta Business Registry, mm-hmm. whereby we built the new entity, because previously it was the registry of companies and it was part of MFSA. Mm-hmm. So there we developed the new entity which now is one of the most fundamental entities in the financial sector in Malta. Following that period of let's say that my work there was completed by giving a structure to the MBR. Then this opportunity came up and I took it immediately because it's quite challenging and I love technology. So being the CEO of the MDIA is quite, okay, as I said before, an honor. Yeah.
I'm going to dig a little bit deeper over here, Kenneth. Talk to me a bit about your academic accomplishments over here.
It continues with what I was saying, because I have a master's. I graduated in management, then I got a master's in human resources management, mm-hmm. and training. So as I said, it's more related to people. Mm-hmm. Now I'm reading for a doctorate in business administration, and wow. At the thesis stage at the moment. Yeah,
that's great. There is never really a particular time to go in for these ventures. I'd say when you feel it's the right time, just.
Actually, to tell you the truth, I got the master's in 2004, quite some time.
Okay.
And recently I decided to take the next step, maybe the last one.
Never know, never know. This is quite a recognition, you know, to be appointed as a CEO of MDIA. I mean, what led you though to getting such an accreditation so late in your life? I mean, did you have a change of vocation over here? How was it?
It has always been in my bucket list. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And then I have a son he is 14 years old, and I always insist with him that you need to study and why? And one day he told me, "Why don't you study yourself?" And I took the challenge, and I took this course in the doctorate, which was the next step.
So you certainly talked the talk and then walked the walk. So,
yeah, I had to.
So you've inspired your son along the way to also achieve academically as well.
Yeah, but to my son, I insist that academics is important. But there are much more other things which are more important in life, such as the personality, such as being kind, which is the most important, I think, for a person. Yeah, academic is important, but it's not the end of the world either. So.
Well, would you say it was a no-brainer, though, to make the leap from MBR to MDIA? Because, of course, there's big shoes to fill now. You've certainly set the baseline for them.
Yeah, to tell you the truth, I miss the COO part.
The operation side.
Yeah, because there you have to dirty your hand, you know, to do the reports. Now I read the reports and I give my comments and I review them rather than being the one who is the policy maker. So
executing.
I miss that part.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, it's very grateful to be the one to take the decisions and to give a direction to your employees and to the authority in general. So
of course, a big responsibility over there. What can MDIA expect from Mr. Kenneth Brincat now that you have been appointed? I'm sure you have some sort of goal you want to reach with MDIA and say, okay, I came, I saw, I conquered, I left my print. Let's formulate that a little bit.
I had to give a new strategic direction to MDIA. The MDIA, the first 3 years were very promising. Mm-hmm. But lately in the years, its scope was changing, but it was still trying to find its feet on the ground. So what was expected from me was to give a new strategic direction. And my new strategic direction was, first of all, to change the law. And we are working on it, and by the end of this year it should be enacted, where at the original scope, the MDIA scope was to have a regulatory framework for blockchain, mm-hmm. smart contracts, and DLT which is blockchain. Now the new law will give us a wider spectrum of technologies, not just DLT and smart contracts. That's the first important objective. The second important objective is that we should not be just a regulator. Normally, a regulator does not promote the sector because it's conflicting, no? In technology, in my opinion, that doesn't work. In my opinion, first you have to promote, you have to enable the use of that technology, you have to facilitate that use. Then, when the technology starts growing in your country or in the industry, then might be the time to regulate. That was the second objective. The third objective was the need of technology assurance. As you know, technology is more, rather than regulated, is more popular for standardization. You know, there are the ISO standards, etc. So we need it. We need, in Malta, there is this kind of shortage or lack, whereby one can have his technology assessed and a level of technology assurance is given. Mm-hmm. So the MDIA has a new framework in technology assurance. In my first year, I managed to have this new framework, which is called the TAF, Technology Assurance Assessment Framework, mm-hmm. Which has different levels of assessment depending on the risks of the technology, starting from level 0, which is a self-assessment. So it can be done by the company itself, and the company could know what level of maturity is its solution, and then can try to obviously to ameliorate it. So those are the three main objectives of my new strategic direction for MDIA.
Okay, are they planned out over A
3 years.
specific
3 years.
3 years. Okay.
Yeah, in fact, the first thing I've done at MDIA was to draft and to publish the strategic plan, which was done. Obviously, these 3 objectives. There are others, but these are the most fundamental ones.
How has it been welcomed by your new staff?
No, my staff was actually, they were, when I started work there, they were kind of frightened, yeah, because they might, the government might change its policy and merge the MDIA with some kind of another entity, which was not the case. But when they saw that the authority was still trying to find its feet and its main and its scope to materialize, they were a bit frightened. So with a new strategic direction, with very tangible, because those it's important, objectives, they welcomed such.
I take it then you will find a way how to cradle them to the goal. Yeah. Of course, it's a team effort. You are new. You come from an operationals background, so you know how to lead a team forward. It's not only about reading those processes now and making sure that everything is in line, but
we continue also to build and to develop the team. Not just by upskilling them, but obviously to have new stuff as well.
Exactly. You took a small point I was going to ask you. So how's the government actually reacting on all this? Are they still willing to engage, to endorse maybe? How are those territories at the moment?
The government actually is depending on us on certain strategies.
Okay.
For example, the Malta digital strategy, which is the overarching strategy of the Maltese technology sector, has a quite chunk on digital innovation. The AI, for example, we are the Malta leading authority in the discussion with the European Union as regards to the new AI Act.
Okay.
There are other areas such as the digital wallet, for example, which will be a requirement for member states, whereby each citizen would have the right to have a digital wallet, and each member state needs to have its national digital wallet. This is another project which the government is discussing with us, and most probably we will be the entity which will develop and implement such digital wallet. So yes, the government is looking forward on actually is depending on us on certain areas.
Okay, all right. Kenneth, do you have a message for the people out there to I don't know, you're the new appointed CEO. People are expecting, of course, big things. Any particular message you would like to share with the nation?
When it comes to digital technology, my message is twofold. One is about cybersecurity, so it's about protection. To be careful, and to follow what the authority and other authorities as well, our guidelines, our awareness in cybersecurity, because sometimes human beings tend to, for example, if you get robbed, then you do everything. You do the alarms. You do everything.
Once it happens.
Once you're hit. So my message here is that people should think to prevent before, which is important. That's about cybersecurity, and the other message is about innovative technologies, not to be scared off in using innovative technologies. These are there to help, to assist the human being, and not to compete with the human being. I'm referring particularly to artificial intelligence, which recently became important through ChatGPT, for example. There are other tools, but recently it was the one which
that hit the mainstream.
Yeah, and people are being scared rather than
curious
and use such technology for their benefit. So to inform themselves, and we are there to help. If we have numerous campaigns about the optimal use of such innovative technologies. So to inform themselves and not to scare of the use of such innovative technologies.
The technology has arrived, and I think we should welcome it with arms wide open.
Exactly.
I heard there is going to be some sort of regulation on it, which is good. Of course, there has to be a responsible side to it. We can't have AI being completely put down. Like, for instance, in Italy, they decided to even stop ChatGPT. That was a story of at least 2 months ago, but of course other nations might follow through. Responsibility has to be over there. But you're right, the message is very clear, not to be scared. However, to accept it as part of our current reality, and work on maximizing on it.
I give you an example. In the 1980s, there was the introduction of calculators, and so calculator can do the maths. Which
Mathematics took a big hit back then.
So later on, the calculator was being accepted to be used during exams. And nowadays, we cannot stay without it, no?
Exactly.
Or becoming obsolete, rather, now. That's the history shows us that every new technology needs space, and we need to try to make use of it in the best way, so it helps us. And AI can help us a lot. Yes, there are regulations, as you said, regulation is very important, especially when it comes to privacy. In fact, but the AI Act, what it's saying is that AI should not work alone. There should always be some kind of human element, a human oversight.
Of approval,
so I
would
think
say,
that approach is commendable.
And we will eventually learn how to work around it much better. It's just a matter of time, I think. And also, I think it's something that should definitely come from a very young age in school, because of course, I mean, we can't exactly put parental protection on every single item out there. So in a way, I do trust in the schooling system that they will eventually include it in their syllabuses.
They need to adapt.
For sure.
They need to adapt.
For sure. Kenneth, is it fair to say that we'll be seeing you in October for the MedTech Expo?
Of course. MDIA will be part of the MedTech, so see you there. And
most definitely. We look forward to welcoming you with arms wide open, Kenneth. You and your team.
Thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for stopping by, and we'll be speaking very soon in October.
Thank you, and see you.
Pleasure.